Today I'm going to walk you through my approach for soloing over gospel chord changes. I'm going to demonstrate 5 different solos over a backing track. We're going to start at the most basic beginner level and then build on that using chord tones, arpeggios, and chord substitutions to create some really hip sounding lines. Let's get into it. So this chord progression is very much in the style of Ray Charles, and we're in the key of F. There's a lot of chords in this progression, but not all of them are diatonic to the key. So to start out, I'm going to play rhythm along to the backing track and put the chord names up on the screen. So if you're just starting out with lead guitar, playing a tune with this many chords may seem pretty difficult, but we can actually play through this whole thing with just some simple phrases. This is the way I would approach soloing when I first started out. So for solo example 1, we're just going to play some simple bluesy phrases that fit over all the chords. So all we're doing here is repeating this simple bluesy major pentatonic lick. And as long as we don't stretch out too much, everything fits into place. Now you can use your ear to do this kind of playing, but it comes with some limitations. You may start hitting some ugly sounding notes as you start stretching out along the fretboard. So what I recommend is once you're able to play a simple solo like this, visualize chord shapes on the fretboard and start targeting some chord tones. For this, it's really useful to learn your chord inversions. So I'm going to play rhythm along to the track one more time. And this time I'm going to play the chord inversions to all these chords that fit in this spot where we played our original solo. So now that we can see these chords, we have a visual roadmap of where our chord tones are on the fretboard, and we can start peppering these in along with our original motif. So for solo number 2, I'm going to play a variation on our original theme, but add some chord tones in to address each chord change. So the next step is to start fleshing out these chords in even more detail. So for this, we can use our basic chord inversions to find the arpeggio shapes that fit to each one of these chords. This is going to give us a really complete picture of where all of our chord tones are. So here's all of the arpeggios to these different chords in this one position. So these arpeggio shapes can give our solo another layer of depth and allow us to outline certain chords in the progression where it fits tastefully. So now that we've covered this in one position, you can take the same approach and spread it out across the fretboard. This will take some time to work through your different chord inversions and arpeggio shapes, but eventually you should get to the point where you're comfortable playing over these changes anywhere on the neck. So for solo number 4, I'm going to keep the same approach of playing simple bluesy phrases combined with chord tones from our chord inversions and arpeggio shapes, but I'm going to spread it up the fretboard. So I really can't stress enough how important it is to know your chord shapes. Soloing over a tune like this relies so much on being able to outline the chords. So I'm going to play one last solo here that leans heavily into chord inversions and a few chord substitutions to play what I feel stylistically really fits this tune. Alright, so for all the tabs and notation for these different solo examples, as well as this backing track, head over to my Patreon site. That's a great way to support this channel if you're not already a member. Until next time, take care and happy practicing.